New, simple, and easy gold farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This farm is incredibly cheap and easy to build, and it produces a ton of gold. It also produces a ton of experience, so this could be your main XP farm in your Minecraft world. It looks a little bit large, but you can build this in just a few minutes, and it doesn't require any expensive materials. And it just produces armies of pigmen non-stop. These gold farms are also incredibly fast, producing nearly 2,000 gold an hour. So every hour, you're going to get this much gold from this tiny little farm. You also get an absurd amount of swords from using the farm, like 8 double chests every 10 minutes. So if you throw these into a furnace, you can smelt that down into a lot more gold. It's actually kind of worth it. In total, this farm can produce up to 20,500 items per hour. That is going to be a lot of gold, but also a lot of rotten flesh. This farm produces a ton of experience as well. It'll get you to level 30 in about 2.5 minutes, and that really adds up. This is more than enough for enchanting or combining any gear that you have. This one little gold farm actually produces more gold than a full-scale nether farm. This is my previous gold farm. It takes up a huge amount of space in the nether. It's a pretty large build, and it also produces about 1,000 gold ingots per hour. It's not every day that you get something good on Bedrock Edition, but this is one of the few things that actually are. These gold farms use the mechanic of breaking and relighting a portal very quickly to spawn a ton of zombie pigmen. This is almost considered a bug on Bedrock Edition, but it's been around for years, and the farms are so simple that you may as well just use it. There's two ways of building this farm. The first way doesn't require any flint and steel if you have the fire spreads turned on, and as you can see, we just have a bunch of lava spreading into fire and lighting our portals. Now, the reason why we're using trapdoors is because these can technically catch on fire, but they never actually burn down. We actually have some redstone here that is removing the lava up there. That way, the farm is always off when you're not in the area, and then as you can see, we're respreading that lava, and then as you can see, it lights up the portals very quickly. And then to break the portals, we have some powdered snow dispensers on the right side over here, and as you can see, that is going to run our farm incredibly quickly and get us a ton of pigmen. I also have a version that uses flint and steel for those of you who do not have fire spreads turned on. It's a little bit slower, and you will have to restock it, but it's still worth it because you just get so much gold from this thing. So if you're using flint and steel, it's pretty straightforward. We just have a clock here that controls the speed at which the farm runs. You can make it slower if you want to reduce lag. And then, of course, we're turning on the portals using flint and steel, and then we're turning them off using some powdered snow. So that's how the farm actually spawns in pigments, but from there, we just have a simple water stream. So all the pigmen fall into the water stream, and then they go to our trident killers. We have double trident killers because it produces too many pigmen for one trident killer. The nice thing about both of these farms is that when they're off, the nether portals are unlit. That way you don't need to worry about any nether portal linking issues. You don't need to worry about any hostile mobs going into your portals. That way there's no creeper bombs in the nether. So you might be wondering how exactly this mechanic works, and it's kind of a weird one, but basically every single time that you light a nether portal, you get all of these portal blocks to summon in, and then each one of these has a very tiny chance of summoning in a zombie pigman. Now they're always going to spawn at the bottom, and it's directional, so they'll always spawn on one side of the portal here, which is why we have the water stream just on one side of it. So the larger the portal, the much better chance you have of getting a zombie pigman, and it's also cheaper to build fewer large portals than a bunch of very small portals. And it's also way cheaper to farm using very large portals when you're using the flint and steel, because if you're lighting a very small portal, you're basically just wasting your flint and steel. So that's why you should use the maximum size. So we could actually see this in action. If we light up this portal, then break it, we're actually going to get ourselves a couple of zombie pigmen to spawn. Your rates will depend on how fast you can light and break these portals. The faster you go, the more lag it's going to create, but also the more pigmen you're going to get. So if you want to slow down the farm or reduce your lag, then you can simply adjust the clock or adjust how quickly you are breaking those portals, and that's really all there is to it. It's a very easy farm to adjust to your needs. If you'd like this kind of tutorial, then subscribe. I got a lot more tutorials on the way. The materials you'll need for this build is everything in this chest right here. You do need a couple pieces of powdered snow and an infinite water source. You'll also need 2 tridents, ideally with impaling 5 to get the best rates, and you'll also want a sword with looting 3. These are the basic materials you'll need, but you'll also need either of these 2 rows. So if you're using flint and steel, you'll need all of this stuff in the top row right here, and if you have fire spreads turned on, then you'll need this bottom row of materials right here as well. And let's hop into the tutorial. So the area that you'll need to build this is going to be 23 blocks wide. It's mostly just going to be 7 blocks deep, although you will need a little bit of extra area on the edges there, and then it's going to be 30 blocks tall. Now keep in mind, you cannot build this below Y0 because nether portals do not spawn pigmen below 0. It's just a leftover bug from 1.18. So this right here is going to be the very center block of our build area, and we're going to extend this one block to the right, and this is where you're actually going to be AFKing to use the farm. So the first thing that we're going to do is build up a trident killer to the side. We're going to start by placing down 2 double chests like so, and then a hopper going down into both of those. Put some solid blocks on the back side of that, and now we need to turn this into a 4x4, so some more solid blocks in all of these areas. You'll need a glass block above those chests right there, and then you can just fill it in like this. Now that it looks like this, we need to place in the 4 pistons, so you need one in this corner, one in that corner, one right here, and another one right here, just like so, and it should look like that. Go ahead and fill in these blocks on the edges here, and now you need to place in a dropper on all 4 of the corners. Get inside of here and place in an observer facing each one of those droppers, and now you can go ahead and place in a solid block above each one of the pistons. It's kind of confusing to build, I know, but this is basically what it should look like, and you can test out if it's working correctly by placing in a lever right here, powering it, and then if you unpower that, everything should be going around in a nice circle, just like so. Place in a stair in this back corner, and then a water bucket on it, and that's going to allow us to use impaling in there. And you also want to put in yourself a glass block right here, that way you can actually see inside of the farm. So now we need to build up the second one, and it's going to be going right here, so start by placing in your 2 double chests, and then your 2 hoppers right here, and it's the exact same build process as this one, just right here. And now both of your trident killers are installed. If you flick this lever off, then it should go ahead and activate both of those, and as you can see, we got double trident killers going. And now we need to install the water streams. I'm going to show you how to install it on this front module here, but it's the exact same on the back one, so you'll need to build this twice. So we're going to start on the left side here with a block above that observer, and then another block, and then you need a wall right here. And now go up and out by 7 blocks. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that should be 1 short of your build area. And now go to the right side. We need 2 blocks out and then a wall. Block up. And this side we're going to go out by 6 blocks. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And as you can see, we're 1 short of our build area. Now we're going to install the walls going around this. I'm going to be using glass blocks, but you don't need to. We need 6 glass blocks right there. And then we're going to have another little wall right here. Go ahead and build this out by a couple blocks on this side, and then on this side as well. You need a block to either side of that wall as well. And then we're just going to continue this all the way out to the end right here and put in a block on the end like so. And now we need to do the same thing on this side. So bring out this wall by 3 blocks. And on this side, blocks next to your wall down below. And then go ahead and put in yourself an extra line of blocks going all the way to the very back edge. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come to this inner edge right here, place in 2 buttons, and then a coral fan on the edges of these blocks right here. The coral fan is just there to help the mobs fall off the block. It's not necessary, but it does help. And now we're going to go to the very end over here, place in ourselves 1 water source. That should flow all the way to the end right there and get stopped by those buttons. And now do that on the right side as well. And it should do the exact same thing. So that is your first water stream installed. You need to do this a second time on top of this trident killer, and it should be lined up with these blocks right here. And now we need to figure out where to place our nether portals. It's going to be a little bit different for you depending on what direction you have built in. But the pigmen can spawn on the south side of the nether portals or on the east side of the nether portals. So pull out yourself a locator map, and your icon is going to be that little white dot down there, as you can see. Now I am facing west right now, which means that my nether portals need to be on the west side of these water streams. And that is because the pigmen spawn on the east side, so they're going to spawn in right above this water right here. So my nether portals are going to be going on these 2 ledges right here. If you build it incorrectly and your pigmen start spawning like in this gap or outside the farm, that's not too big of a deal. You just need to move your nether portals to the opposite edges of your water stream. And now it's time to build up the nether portal. So this bottom layer right here should be 21 blocks wide. So go ahead and double count that and make sure it's exactly 21. And then both of the walls are also going to be 21 blocks tall as well. So just go ahead and build those up on either side. And then of course the ceiling is also going to be 21 blocks as wide. So it's basically just going to be a giant square with all of these edges being 21. Now that the portals are installed, I'd recommend that you go ahead and light both of them just to make sure they are the correct size. And you might also see a pigman spawn. Good way to make sure they're spawning on the right side. Anyway, Anyway, we're going to place in a torch in our middle block right here, and then go up to the top of the farm, and also place a torch on the middle block on both of these portals, and that's going to spawn proof the top edges, and of course the bottom of the frame as well. That way nothing else spawns in there. And now go down to both of your trident killers, and we need to put an extra layer of blocks on all of the 3 back sides of them. So just in all of these places, you need an extra 12 blocks. This is going to help contain your mobs and make sure nothing glitches out and kills you while you're AFK, and of course do that for both of your trident killers. And now we just need to add in an extra layer to our water stream walls, just to make these things going 2 blocks tall all the way around. That way no pigmen can escape, and of course do that on both sides. And now there's going to be a little split in the tutorial because I need to show you how to build the flint and steel system and also the lava system. So I'm going to show you how to build the flint and steel system first, and then I'll show you how to build the lava system. When building the powder snow system, make sure you're always building that on the south or the west side of the portals. Otherwise you're going to end up with this weird split nether portal bug. It doesn't affect anything, but you might want to avoid it. So we're going to come to the corner of our nether portals down here, go in by 3 blocks, place in a solid block there, and then a block up, and then a couple more blocks in these areas like so for this general shape. Now you need a piece of redstone dust right there, redstone torch, and then a repeater right here on 2 ticks, and that should create a clock. Now place in yourself a solid block right here, another one right here, and then a redstone torch. Now we need to go down by a few blocks, and we need a total of 3 redstone torches in there, just so that we can lower this down far enough for the player to reach it from the ground. So when this lever is down, that means that your clock is going to be on, and your farm is going to be running. Now we're going to place in a dispenser right here, an observer facing downwards like so, another dispenser right here, and then solid block, piece of redstone dust right there, and then dispenser right here, and dispenser right there as well. Now, these bottom dispensers are going to have your flint and steel in them, so fill them up, and then the top dispensers are going to have your powdered snow in them. On the back side of this, I'm also going to have a hopper into both of the bottom dispensers, and then a double chest for your flint and steel storage. So when the farm is running properly, this is what it should look like right here, and you can adjust these repeater timings if it's being a bit wonky or weird. And you might also need to move this observer from the left side to the right side. It's a bit odd. I'm not sure why. There's no chunk borders in this area, but sometimes if that observer is on the other side, it just acts weird. So you might need to play around with this. It should be reliable. The other one had no issues at all. A little note about this system is if the powdered snow gets left out like this when you turn off the build, just double flick this lever really quickly, and then that'll pull it back in, and then the next time you turn on your farm, it'll actually work properly and you won't have any issues. Once you've built up that system, throw yourself an impaling trident into your trident killers, and now you're ready to use the farm. So just turn on the trident killers first, and then go ahead and turn on your, lighting and braking system, and this is what it should look like. Now make sure you're holding a looting 3 sword when you're AFK, that way the looting effect is applied to everybody, and this right here is your AFK spot. As you can see, everything is dying just fine. And now for the lava ticking system, the first thing we're going to do is install our powdered snow dispensers. Now keep in mind, you need to build these on the south side or the west side of your nether portals if you want to avoid that split nether portal bug. It doesn't affect anything, but you might want to avoid it. So come to the corner of your nether portals and count in by 3 blocks. We need a solid block right here, and then another block up, and then one more block right there. And then we're just going to have a dispenser on either side of it like so, with a powdered snow inside of both of those dispensers. Now come down, we're going to place in 2 slabs right here with a solid block like so, a piece of redstone dust, comparator on subtract mode, and then 3 pieces of redstone dust right here, and 1 more like so. Now we need to get ourselves in 2 redstone torches underneath this thing and a lever. So place in a pillar of blocks, and then you need yourself a redstone torch right there, redstone torch right there, and then a lever. And whenever this is flicked down, that means that your nether portals are going to be getting broken. And now for the lava lighting system, we're going to come in between our trident killers right here and install all the redstone. The first thing we're going to do is install a solid block right here with our on-off switch for the lava and trident killers. So now we need a redstone torch above that. Now we're going to break out these 2 pieces of glass right here and place in a sticky piston facing upwards. We need a solid block above that torch, and then another redstone torch right here. Place an observer facing that torch, and then a solid block above it, and a dispenser facing towards the middle like so. And now we're going to get ourselves in an observer facing towards the right there, and 2 more right here, and then 4 observers on this side. So it's one big chain. This is going to activate the lava and the lava source and make it spread faster and just update more. That way it creates more fire. So now we need a line of temporary blocks inside of the nether portal right here and make it going on the right side as well. Just 1 block beyond your observers on either side. And now we're going to place in ourselves a bunch of wooden trapdoors right here. The trapdoors need to be 3 layers tall on all sides. So just go ahead and place in all of those. And then we're going to flick them so that they are vertical. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So a line of temporary blocks is starting right here and going all the way across, ending here, and then just a bunch of trapdoors. Once you have your 3 layers of trapdoors installed, again, just go ahead and make sure all of those are vertical. You'll notice that this one is right above the water stream, but that's fine. Your pigmen are going to spawn right here and still fall straight down. Those trapdoors don't happen to affect anything. Make sure to remove your temporary blocks, so that way there's nothing in your nether portal frames. And we're going to go ahead and place in ourselves another trapdoor right above that dispenser, and a lava bucket inside of the dispenser as well. The lava system is now done, so whenever you unflick this lever, that's going to activate both your trident killers. It's going to dispense your lava and activate your observer clock, meaning that these nether portals are going to be lighting and relighting extremely quickly. But to actually fully run the farm, you'll need to also flick this lever in order to turn on the powdered snow breakers. And as you can see, that's all there is to it. And the final thing to do for your farms is to come in and throw a impaling trident into each one of these trident killers right here. And now we just need to go ahead and activate it. So we're always going to activate the trident killer system first, and then if you're using the fire spread systems, you want to wait for both of your nether portals to get lit up, and then wait a couple of seconds, and then turn on your powdered snow system. That way everything is breaking and working properly. As always, hold a looting 3 sword when you are AFKing. That way the looting effect gets applied to all the mobs that die in your trident killers, and you're just going to be standing right here while you're AFK. If you like this video and you want to see more, then subscribe. Thanks for watching.